to throw, a little sidearm action, touchdown, Dane Key.
Kentucky's quarterback had to transfer from Penn State to find some opportunities to play, but when Will Levis finally did, he had a very, very good career. What's up, everybody? Ken Swanson here with Sean Barber, about to break down some Will Levis tape presented by Miller Lite. Barber, what's something that jumps out to you about Will Levis?
Man, his mindset, 4.0 grade point average, recruited by all the Ivy League schools, went to Penn State, but then had to transfer to go to Kentucky. The king of Kentucky, let's see how he does in the NFL and bring that power cannon arm to the league.
Yeah, he's got a real big arm. There's a lot to like about him. You know, I have some concerns about how he eats his bananas. He doesn't peel them. He's put some mayo in some coffee. But outside of those red flags, there are some positives on tape for sure.
Let's check him out.
Yards deep in his own end zone. And now he's going to run with it to get himself some room to work and might even have a first down out of it.
Barber, one of the things that's obviously going to stick out with Will Levis is just how strong his arm is.
Yeah, he's kind of like a military, like a tank. He's built like a linebacker. Obviously has an arm, a cannon, can make all the throws. Now, how accurate those throws are is maybe a little bit question about it, but he's willing, he's confident, he's putting the ball in places for the team, for his receivers to go make plays. The only thing, man, at his age, I'm a little bit old for a rookie coming into the league, and then I'm not sure if his mobility is what it needs to be one of these top-ranked, to be drafted as one of the top quarterbacks overall.
Yeah, you know, he's 24 during his rookie season, which is a good point. And, you know, Will Levis, I think he's a pretty good athlete. He's a very strong kid. He's got a very good arm, an elite arm. Elite arm strength. There's a difference between arm talent and arm strength for me. I think he has elite arm strength. But yeah, it's kind of curious. You know, I don't think he's going to be a guy whose legs are going to be super valuable in the league as a runner. I don't think it's something that he's going to be hanging his hat on, but I do think he has enough functional mobility. The one thing I do worry about him is, you know, you talk about running a little bit and stuff like that. I think he puts his body at risk a little bit too much. It kind of like Carson Wentz. It reminds me of Carson Wentz, the way that he kind of puts his body at risk from the pocket. He tries to hang on. He needs to be smarter and protect himself so that he can kind of sustain his career.
I think that Carson Wentz profile is probably the exact comparison, the exact NFL comp that needs to be made, because when I look at him right now and you said Carson Wentz, I can see that North Dakota State uniform almost superimposed. The way he was running the ball downfield and not knowing how to get down and give yourself up. When you're that tall, the stature, you become an easy target, especially for linebackers down the field and safeties to make big hits and put big hits on you. And those type of hits, they add up. But you see, you know, all through college, this Kentucky passing scheme, he mastered it. He took control over it. He knew where the ball needs to be placed against certain defenses. Just wanted to see I would love to see if Kentucky got a little bit more pro style, let him get in the center a little bit, got him, you know, some more traditional, so we can really see him go through the passing tree and go through the progression. Those are the things I want to know if he can really do.
Well, the thing is kind of weird is, you know, I think last year, 2 seasons ago, he got more opportunity to operate with a little bit more of a traditional offense, and he had a lot more success. And he had some talent around him that allowed him to succeed in the SEC. This year, not as much talent, not as much players around him. You know, he lost some offensive linemen. He lost Wan'Dale Robinson. And things weren't as pretty or weren't as clean for the Kentucky offense. And it really didn't give him the best representation of what he's capable of doing. You almost have to go back to 2 seasons ago to kind of see what he was able to do, where some people thought there was a chance that Will Levis could be the first quarterback taken heading into this season because of, you know, some of the promise he showed 2 years prior in those physical traits. But, you know, there's still a lot to like, even though he's an older prospect. You know, I don't know if he's in the same tier as the kind of the top 3 guys for me, but I'll just put it this way. If Will Levis was in last year's draft class, he's the first quarterback taken.
Yes.
He's probably a top 10 pick. He might have made a mistake coming back. He's probably going to wind up being QB4 in this draft. But I think, he's a guy that is probably worth betting on talent more than anybody you saw in last year's draft class.
Yeah, and again, all the pro comps that come to mind are Mitch Trubisky, Zach Wilson, even like a Fitzmagic. Not that anything is wrong with Fitzmagic. It's just, could you use a top 10 pick on? You just wouldn't want to. You don't want to use a top 10 pick on a quarterback that's not going to be a franchise quarterback. And what we're saying, I think, is that this guy has a lot of talent. He has ability, but until he cleans up his footwork, cleans up a lot of the smaller details, stop relying so much on his arm, right? When you have a big cannon, sometimes it's at fault. You rely on it way too much, and not going through the steps and all the details you need to have an accurate ball, an accurate delivery, a consistent delivery. And I think, like we said, we've seen some quarterbacks here recently as Carson Wentz falter when you realize that big arm is not something you can rely on 16, 17 weeks, season after season in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up footwork, because I think that is something that he's definitely got to continue to clean up. He's got to continue to work in his lower half to develop more consistency. I actually think, there's some guys that are a little bit more fluid of passers than him. He's very rigid through his upper half, which, he's got a tight spot, or a tight, release on the football, and he throws it really hard. But, there's not a lot of fluidity through his frame. He's kind of rigid, and that doesn't really, allow or promote an ability to throw off platform as consistently. There might be some more inconsistencies with the way and the style he kind of throws the football. So that's something to pay attention to. But there's a lot of really interesting traits with Will Levis. Somebody's going to take him in round 1, and somebody might get a starting quarterback out of him. That's Will Levis out of Kentucky.